Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network. I'm Jeff Brightwell alongside Lee Taylor Walker and Coach. Unfortunately, the season over for you as far as a team. I know Courtney's going off to play individually. We'll talk about that more. But what a season and what a finish. You go down to the regionals down in Tuscaloosa and you get a win. And so you knock off Florida State, an old Metro Conference opponent. And tell us about the experience over the weekend. Tell us about that win over FSU.
Yeah, well, it was great. It really was. The win over Florida State played out really well. I felt like we were really prepared and probably played one of our best matches all year. Just everything kind of went together and kind of a dominant match that was a lot of fun. So the whole season, honestly, just so proud of the seniors for their leadership, so proud of the underclassmen for everything they've done, and we had a great year. Obviously, we wish we could have knocked off Alabama and made the Sweet 16, but they were a great team. They played really good. They just really didn't give us a lot of opportunities. So I think if we would have come up short against Florida State, we'd probably been still pretty disappointed, to be honest, about the season. But that win over them, they had just made a run to the ACC championship. They were 21 in the country. They were a team that was predicted by a lot of people to go on a run and eventually make the Sweet 16 and further. And so for us to come out first round, our first time, and just be on, I mean, the girls were just really focused and on, was just a lot of fun. I still just have a lot of good memories and thoughts about that day. And then even with Alabama, it was a great match. And we were close, and there was a time in the match where we really did have an opportunity to kind of turn the tables and get some momentum and win. But at the end of the day, they just were tough. And so Alabama hosted a regional last year and didn't make it through to the Sweet 16. And so they looked quite determined for that not to happen again.
You mentioned how big it was to get a win down there in the NCAA, and you see it a lot, teams making that first run. You spend so much, not maybe physical energy, but it's so emotional to push just to get there that a lot of times you can come out real flat that opening game, and you just say, well, we made the tournament, it was nice, but your team very determined and definitely were able to keep that emotional advantage and grab that win.
Yeah, and I think the season helped us be prepared for that. I mean, the win over Virginia, obviously Notre Dame, the tight matches against Tulsa, I think they just had a true sense that we are good enough and we're better. And we were just a better team than Florida State. Definitely that day, but I think just consistently, there weren't really, it was an upset on paper, but it didn't look that way. We just had a strong team.
We've talked a couple times this year about when we started doing these shows, I guess 4 or 5 years ago, and we've mentioned the progress and is this where you saw the program, but you really, 4 or 5 years is a pretty quick time to take a team that a few years ago we were talking about, well, we just want to go to Georgia to see what it's like to play in a big time environment. We're not really expecting to do anything down. I just want to put them in that environment too. We expect to win an NCAA tournament game when we get there this year and beat all these ranked opponents. I mean, I'm sure it seems not like a quick journey. It seems like a long journey, but really getting a program from that point to this point in 4 or 5 seasons is pretty impressive.
No, it's been so much fun. And I'm just looking back, we have Kelly and Courtney who were 4-year seniors here, and they've really been able to see kind of the gap where the programs come. We did have another senior, Tiffany Welcher, but she transferred in kind of in the middle of that process. But Kelly and Courtney have really been able to see that transformation from the beginning to end. And, I'm just proud of each team taking kind of responsibility for where the program is and moving it forward. And every team's done that. And so something I tell every team every year is, I've been thrilled at what's happened with each team we've had because they've moved forward and made progress. So obviously when you get into where we are now, there's a lot more national recognition and we're getting a lot more awards and higher rankings. And so that's fun and exciting and is going to build a lot more of attention. But I remember 4 years ago us jumping the fences and tackling the player when we had our first conference win. We won our first round of conference, and so that's what's exciting for me is to watch just a team come together, commit to something, and move it forward. And so now we're just in a position where it's going to get a little harder and harder.
Yeah.
But I met with the returners already, and that's going to be their challenge next year. But they're already thinking that way and embracing it. It's like, okay, well, we got to the round of 32. Sweet 16 and further lies ahead, and that's what we expect to do next year. So,
well, let's talk about some all-conference stuff. 6 of your 8 players in the all-conference here. I believe Skylar's the freshman of the year, so you set a record for all-conference selections.
Yeah, I told a lot of people, obviously we wish we would have gotten the conference championship for the team award, but when those awards came out afterwards, it was encouraging and it helps. I think the second most highest team had 4 players on the all-conference. So for 6 of our players to get on their entire record it's nice just to see where the programs come, and it's nice for the girls. I mean, they've just done great. And honestly, I think the 2 that weren't on there kind of could get on there and deserve to be on there, but I'm proud of them, and I think I was happy. The other coaches vote on that stuff.
Right.
So even though we didn't win conference championships, but we led the conference in conference, all conference voting, I think it says a lot about what the other coaches thought about the girls on the team and things like that. So
the ITA Ohio Valley Awards have just come out as well. Mark Finnegan gets Assistant Coach of the Year, and I know you don't like talking about yourself, but congratulations, you're the Coach of the Year in that category as well.
Thanks. Mark's been great. Mark's been an associate head coach for both the men and the women. For him to get the Assistant Coach of the Year for the men last year and then the women this year, I mean, people don't really understand how much that guy does. I mean, he works his tail off in so many areas. So I'm really proud for him for getting that. He very much deserves that. I don't know if I do myself, but the other coaches in the region vote through that, and I'm appreciative of it. And so, but really happy for Mark, and I really just appreciate Mark and all he does for our program.
You got some players on that as well. Coach, you do have one individual moving on in the NCAA. Courtney Collins was invited to play in the championships. That'll be up in Champaign. I know you're going to go up there, watch her, coach her, and you guys are also going to go up there and support the men as well. So that'll be a fun environment up in Illinois.
It's going to be great. And she did, Courtney actually got the Ohio Valley Senior Player of the Year award, which was awesome. And so she's ready. She's playing really good right now. Even down at Alabama, I mean, she knocked off a ranked opponent against Florida State. Their number 1 girl is also in the NCAA tournament. Courtney breezed by her and was beating Alabama's number 1 girl when our match got stopped. And she's just playing really good right now. And so her having been there last year will help a lot. She was going through a shoulder injury last year, and it was her first time, and she played like the number 3 seed first round. It was kind of an overwhelming and tough task. But this year, I think really she's ready to go. I think she could go as far as she wanted. I mean, it helps to have on your resume a win over the 2010 NCAA champion. Yeah. So she has beaten somebody who's won this tournament before. So we're just going to practice the next couple days, head up there on Sunday, and then she'll get started next Wednesday on the 22nd, I believe.
Coach, to wrap things up, end of an era. Conference USA is over for women's tennis, except for Courtney representing the league and the individuals. Just your quick thoughts. I'm sure you've kind of peeked ahead, and national tennis. So what are your thoughts on the AAC?
Yeah, well, we're going to go in next year the highest ranked team. So, we wanted to win Conference USA, and we came up short until Rice and had a good run. But, we're looking to take that title next year, and that'll be our aim and our goal. South Florida will be our competition. Louisville will be our competition. But we're excited about going to that conference. We're excited about not seeing Tulsa for at least 1 year, and then they'll come after that, and we'll be ready for them again. But we're looking forward to the move, and we feel good about our chances. All
right, well, Coach, congratulations. Best of luck to Courtney up in Champaign.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
That is Lee Taylor Walker. I'm Jeff Brightwell for the Wolfchase Toyota Insider on the Memphis Tiger Network.